Hello and welcome to episode 5 of Simon Talks Life. Today I am going to crack a box of Series 3 while talking about AI. Now, funny story. It is AI that has actually helped me decide on the order with which I will be discussing these topics that I'm going through. At the time that I record this, I have an active subscription with ChatGPT Plus. I hadn't really used AI much up until fairly recently, but also funny story, ChatGPT, not the Plus version but the free version, helped name the original Cybertronian jackpot chase, along with wording some of the descriptions. Now, when I talk about AI, I'm not going to be talking exclusively about today's AI, but where it's headed. Because I don't think people really realise, many, I suppose several don't really, but it's going to be a game changer. It really will. There are a few things I will probably touch on, if I'm being honest, but it's brilliant, really. If you've not dabbled with it, I'd probably suggest giving it a go. Yep, you're clear. Off to one side. But I will start, I suppose, with a bit of a story, really. When I bought a new car maybe 2.5 years ago. Spent just about 30 grand here in Australia, and it was by far the most I'd spent on a car several times over, by a long shot. The most I'd spent on a car, if we're talking numbers, would have been about maybe 7 grand, 7.5, something like that. And my having bought a new car and I spent about 30 was a phenomenal amount of money for me. It was by far the most I'd ever spent on a car. And every time I bought a car, I'm getting to it. Look, where are you going with this? God, you ramble. Every time I bought a car, it had always been a car because of that kind of money that had done 150,000 Ks, 200,000 Ks, something like that. Now, the reason I say that is because I follow someone on Facebook who reviews the type of cars that I bought. In this case, MG. They've had a bit of a resurgence lately. And the person who reviews it, I'm not going to name him or anything like that. I'm not necessarily big on his channel or anything like that, if I'm being honest. But he went to China recently, and he took a ride in one of their AI or Uber taxis, whatever you want to call it. But it does lead me to be speaking about the AI, the sort of conversation I want to have, because people don't realise how much a game changer it's going to be. I wouldn't be surprised if companies have already started bringing out AI packages. I'm getting MR vibes coming up here. I think I've got a live action one. I do. That is Devastator. Now, I'm not unhappy on account of the fact that I did not have the MR of Devastator. So that is a win. Every time you get, especially when you've opened as many boxes of this series as I have, it's a win when you get a card you haven't got. That said, I don't care about MR, and certainly not this Devastator. It was just a joke, really. It was a caricature of a real Devastator, really. But yeah, a drive was taken in a fully automated car. There was like a bubble or something around the steering wheel. It was in China. Certain districts of China already have it. And the thing drove flawlessly, commendably, really. It was cut off quite badly in one sequence, but it reacted really very well. And the funny thing is, right, if people are really being driven by AI, they probably won't care how long it takes to get there. Like, I don't mind driving as much as the next person, but if the car could self-drive and I could get there, sitting in the back, for example, on my laptop, something like that, I wouldn't care if the drive were to take 5 or even 10 minutes longer. and my driver's only 20 minutes into work, you know. So it won't even take long, and AI is going to be basically doing all of that. Obviously, there will still be people that like driving, all of that kind of thing, but it's going to happen. It's going to happen. AI will never make the sorts of mistakes, really. I don't believe it will ever make the sort of mistakes that humans could make behind the wheel. You know, it's just not going to happen. You know, so I mean, look, take my job. You know, I mean, not just me. AI. I'm talking about obviously cars. So there goes the entire transport industry. People working as truckers, for example, they have to stop, get some rest, all of that kind of stuff. The AI could just keep going. And it will be as alert when it starts as when it arrives. There's no way this doesn't happen, eh? You know, I'm obviously talking about, maybe I'm talking about the not the immediate future. I've got a new card coming here. Thundercracker, you are, that's okay. I was hoping for more than that. I saw the side of it and I was getting a bit excited, but it was not to be. I don't think people really realise. I work in customer service, right? So my job is to field questions from people, asking if they can buy stuff, how much it costs, all of that. You could easily write an AI to look through our system, formulate a response, and write an email back to the customer. So there's my job gone. You know, I get the feeling I've got an AR coming because I've seen the gold outline. That is carp. That's the last AR that I needed. You ripper, mate. You fucking ripper. Carp. That is the last AR that I needed. It's got a bit of a bend on it, if I'm being honest. Fantastic though. I'm not unhappy to have that one because, you know, it's new. Yeah, you're brilliant. I will top load or something off camera. I don't know if I'm top loading yet or if I'm going to put them in one of these things, the card preservers, because I think I'm going to get some more gradage yet. I don't know. It's if you pardon the expression, it's on the cards, right? But I don't think people realise how much once AI it's going to be a game changer. We're talking mass redundancies across the globe, such that humanity is going to need to make a few significant changes with regards to jobs. What are we going to be able to do? If you've got AI taking care of the driving, the transport, AI taking care of things like customer service, you know, we're only going to be needed to maintain things like robotics, you know. If you can start developing robots that can move about as well as a human can, fucking hell, it's the beginning and the end, isn't it, really? We won't be working anymore. Obviously, while that happens, a lot of people are going to lose their jobs, lose their houses and all of that sort of stuff. As I say, it is going to be there is going to be a bit of an awakening period as far as our species is concerned, where we're going to have to get used to the fact that, once AI comes out there and it really does, you think about what it can do. You know, like, I'm sorry, but I've been speaking with ChatGPT about things, and even now, and this kind of feels like the first iteration, even now it is phenomenally impressive. If you haven't tried it, I urge you to give it a go. And if you have tried it, you want to consider ChatGPT Plus, let me know. Its ability to create memories about you, remember those things and reference it down the track. Honestly, I'm sorry. If you don't think, I'm not talking about, you know how back in the day with the garbage trucks, there used to be obviously the two guys on the back, and every time the truck would stop, they would get out and obviously hand load the bins into the back of the truck. Well, obviously we haven't had that now. You've got the arm that extends, you know. This is going to be night and day compared to that. I'm talking a completely different ball game. You've got no idea. Absolutely. People are going to use AI to be writing. It might not be able to write stories as well as humans can. I might save that kind of talk for another episode of this Simon Talks Life. But when it comes to everything else, people are going to be able to use AI to edit novels. So there goes almost an entire literary field as well. All gone, really. Programs are going to be able to pick all of this stuff up just as well, if not better, really, than humans. It's a game changer, and people don't realise how much. I do feel for people born today because they're going to be up against it. Teachers, you're not going to need teachers anymore. AI can take care of that. There are already chat GPT packages now, right? So you can get teacher packages customised to certain areas, certain specialties, So they're gone. Shocking, really. It's going to happen. I'm sorry, but there's no way it doesn't happen. The movie Surrogates with Bruce Willis might be worth a watch. It's kind of interesting how there's a little bit of that in this. If there are any other movies like AI you think I might be interested in, let me know. This is going to be a special card, I feel. Yeah, that's the UR of Optimus, obviously. Have all of the URs, I've gotten a few of those. I will say about Series 3, for anyone who might not have seen my very first episode maybe, why do you keep buying these, Simon? Well, the jackpot card, the very best card, is the SE. There are only 99 copies of both Optimus and Megatron. I would still very much like to get one of those. And it's kind of ironic that here I am daring to talk about AI while doing something very stupid like buying Transformers trading cards in the hope of getting a trading card where they only made 99 of the fuckers. Okay. That one didn't work out well, did it really? That's okay. Making a right mess. That's fine. Okay, yeah, let's go. There's no way this doesn't happen though. Once they get up to speed on the robotics side of things, automation, all of that, that's it really. That's it. We're almost going to be made redundant. They'll know everything about everything as well. You ask ChatGPT about anything, odds are it's going to know more than you will. This is the last one, and it's another UR. This has been a disappointing pack, really. Yeah, that is a Retgar. It is the UR. Bit of a shame, really. So I know these are going to be the base packs, but that's okay. Yeah, AI is I wouldn't say I'm necessarily subscribing to Matrix. They're going to take over and rule the world. Obviously, The Matrix is a phenomenal movie. I probably should have mentioned it in episode 1. In addition to obviously suggesting I'd like to meet maybe Keanu Reeves as well. Obviously, he's supposed to be a nice guy, But again, I just don't think people realise, As soon as companies like ChatGPT or others start introducing packages that can be tailored for companies, to automate entire divisions, that's entire groups, you might say clusters of people are going to get laid off. Because any such cost involved with the maintenance of that AI is going to pale in comparison to the cost of having to pay people by the hour. It's going to happen. There's no way it doesn't really. It's next level. It's next level change. Everything up until now is all fun and games, Dunkin' Donuts, all of that sort of stuff. But this will be next level, and it will take a serious mindset, a very real changing of the guard mindset here, as far as our species is concerned, to survive here. Where what did you think was going to happen though, right? We keep making technology to make things easier, don't we? You know, we invented the wheel, we had the horse and cart, and then we started making cars. The idea is all to make everything easier. Well, there's going to get to a point where if you keep making everything easier, eventually it stands to fucking reason, doesn't it? We're not going to have anything left to do. You know? Kind of nice to get that Optimus again, I suppose. They're not bad. Obviously they glitter, very nice, you know. So, this has been episode 5 of Simon Talks Life. What do you think about AI? Have you used it? You want to use it? You know? I will say ChatGPT is very agreeable, you might say. It's as if it's been programmed not to go at you so much, offering a contrasted opinion. I find that to be the case anyway. It has been programmed to be especially likable, which kind of feels a bit insecure, really. But it's a phenomenal piece of technology. You know, it is honestly it's next level. I'm sorry, it just is. All right. Thanks for listening to me ramble. This has been Simon Talks Life, episode 5. I will see you soon for episode 6.